So today we're going to be talking about the Roger Sperry split brain experiments. The Roger Sperry split brain experiments were a series of experiments conducted by the scientist Roger Sperry during the years 1959 to 1968. The question being answered through these experiments was, what are the functional differences between the two hemispheres of the brain? In order to answer this question, Sperry studied the corpus callosum, a bundle of neurons that connect the left and right hemisphere, in cats, monkeys, and humans. Sperry severed the corpus callosum in both the cats and monkeys, and also used people that had severed corpus callosums from a previous injury. He wanted to use test subjects with severed corpus callosums because he believed that if the thing connecting the two hemispheres of the brain was severed, the hemispheres would begin to work independently, therefore giving him the ability to study the differences in the function of each hemisphere. He referred to this as split brain. When testing the cats, Sperry closed one of their eyes and showed them two blocks, one of which had food under it. Then, he would switch to closing the other eye and then put the food under the other block. When doing this experiment, the cat memorized the events separately and could not distinguish between the blocks with both eyes open. After testing the cats, Sperry began testing the monkeys. He did a similar experiment, but made them use both eyes at the same time, which was done by using special projectors and light filters. This showed that the split-brain monkeys memorized two mutually exclusive scenarios in the same time a normal monkey memorized one. After testing the monkeys, Sperry concluded that the severed corpus callosum caused the two hemispheres to not be able to communicate with each other and instead act as two different brains in the test subjects.
After testing the animals, Sperry went on to test humans. When testing people, he showed them a word to one of their eye, and he found that split-brain people can only remember the word that they saw with their right eye. Then, Sperry showed them two different objects, one to their right eye and one to their left eye only, and then asked them to draw what they saw. All of the people that participated could draw what they saw in their left eye, but only describe what they saw in their right eye. And here's a video of how it went.
Roger Sperry's experiment involved a screen with a dot in the middle. He flashed pictures or words on either the right or left side of the dot. If a word is flashed to the right side, the left hemisphere senses it, and the patient with split brain is able to identify it. The same applies to a picture that is flashed to the right side of the dot. It goes to the left hemisphere, and the patient is easily able to name it. When a word or picture is flashed to the left side, though, the patient with split brain is unable to read it because the creative right hemisphere is unable to read it or say it out loud. The patient can draw this picture, though, with their left hand and then name the object. Even though the patient can't name it, their left hand is able to draw out the picture of the stimulus. For example, if you were a patient with split brain and these images were flashed to you, you would immediately be able to name the wheel. You wouldn't be able to identify the car until you drew it out with your left hand. After seeing your drawing, you would recognize the picture. This experiment proved to Roger Sperry that the hemispheres work individually and the corpus callosum connects the activity so that they can work as one cohesive device.
Sperry concluded that the left hemisphere of the brain can recognize and analyze speech, but the right side cannot. By the end of these experiments, Sperry concluded that the left hemisphere of the brain can recognize and articulate language while the right hemisphere can't. Along with this, he also concluded that the left hemisphere of the brain is responsible for understanding and remembering language, while the right hemisphere can only recognize words but not be able to articulate them. Also, these experiments showed that the left hemisphere speaks much better than the right, and the right hemisphere takes care of space perception tasks and music.
Sperry shared the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1981 for his research. Many researchers repeated Sperry's experiment in order to study the split brain patterns and the lateralization of functions. Thank you.
And this is all
we're excited.